Welcome to Beyond the Pages. I'm your host, Arlene Reyes from Donnelly.media. In this podcast, we go beyond the headlines, diving deep into the stories that matter with our team of journalists. Stay with us as we uncover the details, insights, and untold perspectives behind the news.
Donnelly.media presents Beyond the Pages. Captain Tree Service sponsors today's episode. When a disaster happens, call the captain. 856-796-3536.
In today's episode, we have Chuck Darrow, who writes all about entertainment, has been for many years, has been in the industry. And Chuck writes an entertainment article for us that we use in South Jersey through the Sun newspapers. And we're looking to maybe expand those columns beyond that. Chuck, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
I'm happy that you were able to come and we were able to set this up.
Flattered that you would think to ask.
Chuck, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I was born in a log cabin. No. I have not just many years. Last October, I marked the 50th anniversary of my first ever published article.
Congratulations.
Thank you for being old. I knew that I wanted to be a reporter from the time I was probably 13 or so. And then around that time, I just became a huge music fan. And that's when I grew up in Philadelphia, and the three Philadelphia newspapers all had hired their first generation of music writers, rock music writers, and they were all guys. And at the time, and I would read because I was such a fan, and I'd say, think to myself, wait a second, these guys get free concert tickets, they get free albums, and they get to hang out with the rock stars, and they get paid for it.
Nice.
Yeah, you know what? That might work. So I went to Temple University, and when my first day on campus, orientation in the summer of '74, I went up to the Temple News, and life is just about luck and timing as much as talent. Right. And I went up to the features editor, and I said, I want to write for you guys. And he said, what do you want to write about? I said, music. And he says, okay, you're the music columnist, because they had lost their the guy who wrote the music column before he graduated. Okay. And I just was in the right place. And then I branched out to theater and movies and television and casinos, which is my first love and has been for about 30 years now. I spent 25 years at the Courier-Post here in South Jersey, and 7.5 years at the Philly Daily News. And also 2 years, my first real job was at the Philadelphia Journal, which you're too young to remember. It was a tabloid that was in business from 77 through 81.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was around that time.
Well, but you were probably in nursery school. I always love show business and the behind the scenes. I've never really wanted to be like an actor or a movie star, but I'm always fascinated by what goes on behind the scenes and the personalities. And this has allowed me, entry into
the
that
background
world.
story.
And I've done some other things on the side. One we'll talk about a little bit later.
Okay.
But if you know Joe Piscopo, I was his writing partner for about 30 years.
Oh, wow.
And I've done some stand-up comedy and stuff like that there.
Oh, I was not aware you did stand-up comedy.
No, but I don't really pursue it. I never did because I never wanted to be a stand-up comic, and I could have gone to open mic nights and things. I thought that's not fair to take away stage time from someone who may actually want to do this as a serious endeavor. So but people know that I do it and for laughs.
Right.
So occasionally they'll say, hey, you want to come and do stand-up. So,
oh, okay. But that's great.
It's just, I just do it for, just for the fun of it.
So I thought we'd talk about a little bit of some stories you have coming up for July and August. People are always looking to do things during the summertime.
Well, this summertime, if you want to get into it, the summer in the Delaware Valley, entertainment-wise, is as amazing as any place because you have a range of venues from small little music clubs to, as we'll go over in a minute or so, Lincoln Financial Field and Citizens Bank Park, which bring in the biggest acts out on the road. You got the casinos, of course, who always concentrate, maybe too strong of a word, but they certainly, for the most part, especially a couple in Atlantic City, emphasize entertainment. It's really part of the brand. So if you can't find something to your liking, whether it's music, comedy, there's a couple of other kind of variety type shows in Atlantic City we'll talk about. I don't know what you're looking for because it's just anything you could possibly want. And again, warm weather, the outdoor venues, people always enjoy, I think, being outside at concerts.
Right.
I think so. If you want to get into it, unfortunately,
my memory
isn't good enough.
So
I do have
that's perfect.
my cheat sheet. So, I mean, let's just start. Wu-Tang Clan, which is, and I hate the word iconic. I try to avoid using it in my stories because it's overused. Everybody now is an icon. Yeah. I don't understand that, but I think Wu-Tang Clan absolutely.
I think they're worthy.
Yeah, I think that they're legitimately iconic. As you know, in the world of hip hop, they're at the Wells Fargo Center, I believe, tomorrow night, July 18th.
Oh, okay. All right, great.
And the weekend, and over the weekend, July 19th, Saturday, pretty disparate shows, but we got Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons at Hard Rock. And yes, Frankie Valli has played in the area, and especially Atlantic City, 6,000 times. Why even mention it? Because Frankie Valli is 90 years old.
Wow.
And he's billing this as sort of his last hurrah. So if you've never seen him perform all of those great 60s and even 70s hits, maybe
this is the time.
This is the time. Yeah. You know, there are performers that I've seen, not that I'm such a huge fan, but the fact that they are icons. And I want to say, you know what? I saw this person. I shared a physical space with this performer. So that's at Hard Rock. And then on the other end of the scale, at the Mann Center in Fairmount Park in Philly, Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, okay.
So, of course,
I didn't know he was still performing or touring.
Now, according to the internet, he is.
He is.
And of course, you know, he is the preeminent, he has been for 30 years or so now, preeminent song parodist. And so he combined, if you're looking for comedy and music, hey, Weird Al's your guy. Yeah. The next night, the 20th, Sunday, Cyndi Lauper, also on a farewell tour. And she too is at the Mann. So this is a chance to say farewell to these artists.
Cyndi Lauper, I think, is one I might want to catch.
I've
always seen her before.
Always a great show.
Yeah.
And if I may digress, only because I did play a little bit of a role in her career.
Oh, really?
My only real claim to rock and roll fame. There was a singer-songwriter. He died back in 2008, but a Philly guy named Robert Hazard was very big back in the early 80s. Some people may remember his song Escalator of Life. Or Change Reaction was his other big hit, but huge. He once played to like 40,000 people at Vet Stadium after a Phillies game. They came to see him because the Phillies were pretty awful this summer of '82. And he was asked when Epic Records signed Cyndi Lauper in '83 for her first album. She didn't write songs, so they needed material. The guy who was producing the album who knew Robert's manager, said, and was well aware of Robert, said, if you have any songs, we're looking for material. And long story short, I was Robert's road manager at the time.
Oh, okay.
And I was the guy who, on a freezing cold night, I was living in Roxborough, Northwest Philly, and I had to go. Cyndi Lauper, who nobody knew at the time, was staying with a friend somewhere in Delaware County. I don't remember the exact town, but it was one of those towns, Colwyn or Ridley Park, something like that. And I picked her up and drove her to, because she wanted to meet Robert, and I had to drive her to Robert's apartment
nice.
in Center City, Philly. So
she is actually one of my favorite. I thought I would grow up and dress like Cyndi Lauper.
Really, me too.
Yeah.
So that's this is just this coming weekend. Next week, July 23rd, the Philadelphia Orchestra, if you're so inclined. celebrating its 125th anniversary.
Wow.
So we got that. Darrell Hall, there's one on July 20. We have three July 25th shows here. Darrell Hall of Hall & Oates. And he's at Ocean Casino in Atlantic City. And his opening act is worth seeing. A guy named Glenn Tilbrook. Glenn Tilbrook may not ring a lot of bells, but he was one of the two main songwriters in a band called Squeeze in the 80s, British band, that he and his partner, whose name, of course, now I can't remember, but they were, at the time, the critics said they were the new Lennon and McCartney. I mean, they really good songwriters. And one of the Squeeze's song that most people may know is Black Coffee in Bed. Although that was with a different lead singer. Usually Tilbrook or the other guy was the lead singer. But anyway, so that's an interesting show. Sam Hunt, country artist, very big, at Hard Rock in Atlantic City. And Dave Matthews Band, just like clockwork every summer, comes to the area and will be playing the 25th and 26th at the Freedom Mortgage Pavilion in Camden. The Weeknd, who is probably one of the top 5 acts on the boards today, playing 2 nights. I mean, how big is he? Well, he's playing 2 nights at
one is
Lincoln.
Just not enough.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, is kind of hip hop, R&B, pop, whatever you want to call him. But he's huge. 2 nights, and that's proof that 2 nights at Lincoln Financial, it's probably 50, 60,000 seats a night.
Right.
Because they have the floor. Then August 2nd at Rivers Casino and Delaware Avenue, R&B guy Genuine is there. Here's one for all you headbangers. David Lee Roth is August 8th at Hard Rock. Of course, Roth was the original lead singer of Van Halen. And I always, not that I'm a big Van Halen fan, but I always enjoyed him because he's an entertainer.
Right.
He just doesn't stand there and just sing.
He's a performer.
He's
you
a
have
performer.
Singers and performers, and he's a performer.
Yes.
Right.
So that is at Hard Rock. Another huge act, Katy Perry, big pop act at at Wells Fargo Center, August 9th. Now, this kind of surprised me. I've never really been big on the Jonas Brothers. I didn't realize not only how big, I remember how big they were, back, in the day, but apparently they're still pretty big because they're playing August 14th at Citizens Bank Park. Again, another 50, 60,000, probably maybe 45 anyway, or 50. Right. So surprising. And the same thing, kind of a post-punk rock band, My Chemical Romance, is playing August 15th at Citizens Bank. And I guess you'll see the Fanatic there.
Yeah.
no other reason to go, but maybe. And then on the weekend of August 15th and 17th, the Philadelphia Folk Festival returns to the old Pool Farm in Schwenksville. This year, it seems, in the past couple of years, they seem to have a lot more like rock, just straight rock and roll groups. And taking a quick look at the schedule this year, at least the part that's been released, it looks like they're kind of reverting back to a little more folk music oriented. So for all you folkies, old and new, that's I know people who go every year. They love to camp out. They have after the shows are done for the evening.
That's a multi-day event.
Yeah, that's a 3-day of 15, 16, 17, I think it is. And then people gather around the campfires, and they bring out the guitars, and they have their hootenannies. So yeah, it's a lot of fun for people who are so inclined. Now, me, not so much, because my idea of roughing it is a hotel that doesn't have 24-hour room service.
Yeah.
So not big on camping out. But I said a lot of friends go, and they just can't wait. So August 16th, Linkin Park, who, of course, famously combined rap and rock. They're back after, I don't think they've been around for a few years. Wells Fargo Center, August 16th. And if you're more of an old head like me, classic rock fan, doesn't get any more classic rock than The Who.
Right.
And they are playing twice in the area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on August 21st. They are at the Wells Fargo Center. Another farewell tour. We're saying goodbye to a lot of favorites this summer. Yeah. So it's August 21st. They're at the Wells Fargo, and then 2 nights later, they're at Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City. So it's not. I always kind of sarcastically refer to them as the Half Who, because of course 2 of the 4 members died many years ago.
Right.
So, and I've heard mixed results from the previous couple of tours where Roger Daltrey has a little trouble hitting those notes now.
Oh, okay.
But it's the same thing. If you've never seen them, it's
you wouldn't.
And if you're a Who fan, a classic rock fan, yeah, is it worth going to? I think so. I think they're a band that everyone should see at least once in whatever, because you're going to hear the music. No, it's not the original, but you're going to hear the music.
Right.
The songs, from Tommy and Bob O'Reilly and Won't Get Fooled Again. So sure, why not?
Right, of course.
Okay, back to the country thing. Walker Hayes, I believe he's a country artist, and he's at Ocean, August 22nd, very big in those circles. On the 23rd, now this is a show that is kind of, I always love like the wild card shows, the ones that, wow, that's really interesting. Hank Azaria is a pretty big actor. Probably best loved as doing multiple voices, including Apu on The Simpsons. But he's actually a very, very good actor. And he has a Bruce Springsteen tribute band called the EZ, not the E Street Band, but the EZ Street Band. Okay. And they are coming to Borgata.
Oh, nice.
On August 23rd. And I have no idea how good they are or how much although he's kind of, because he's a voice actor, he can probably approximate Springsteen's, sound. And I think, especially if you're a Bruce fan, and who isn't,
right?
I think that would be a cool thing to do. So to see. So, and now there's just a couple of other acts I want to talk about, 3 to be exact. Ocean Casino. Both of these bands have been there previous summers. They have summer residencies once a week. And on Thursday nights, Magical Mystery Doors is the act. And they're a rock band, 5-piece rock band, but they're really interesting. They're a tribute band. They play only Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, and the Doors. That's it. But they don't do it just to recreate, like most tribute bands. You want to be as faithful to the original. That's what makes people want to hear. But they're really interesting. What they do is sometimes they'll play like a Doors song and then they'll play a Beatles song, but sometimes they will do mashups. So the band will start to play while I think this is in my memory. Of course, I have 18 functioning brain cells left, so forgive me if this isn't exact. You find out one day that it's not exact accurate, but you'll get the idea. The band will be playing the song the band will be playing will be While My Guitar Gently Weeps by the Beatles. But the singer the lyrics are Stairway to Heaven. And somehow they make it fit. It works. So it's a really unique twist on the tribute band thing. On Sunday afternoons this summer, and it has been going on for a few weeks now, I guess about 6 weeks. There's another band called Super Trans Am. They are basically a cover band on steroids. They do what you will find in any bar in America on a Saturday night, pretty much. It has live music, just a band cranking out Springsteen, Stones, Doors. But what they do is they stick to the anthems of the 1970s.
Okay.
Freebird, Won't Get Fooled Again, The Boys Are Back in Town.
And I'm sorry, where was this again?
This is both at Ocean Casino.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And but they have, because they're getting paid by Ocean, they have the budget, so they do a lot of pretty cool production with video, lots of nice video.
Okay.
So that's a little too. If you're classic rock fans, there's a little different way to listen to it. And one other tribute band that I must talk about. I play in what I modestly think is the world's greatest Tom Petty tribute band. I play bass. And
nice.
The name of the band is Pure Petty. And we are playing in the Delaware Valley several times over the next few weeks. So if you're a Tom Petty fan, please come out and see us next weekend. So July 25th, we are at 118 North in Wayne, Pennsylvania, out on the main line, just off of Lancaster Avenue. The next night, we're at the Anchor Rock Club in Atlantic City, right off the boardwalk on Tennessee Avenue. And on August 1st, we are at I think it's called the Lambertville Inn. I'm not sure, but it's that kind of big old grand hotel right on the river across from New Hope.
Okay.
So we are there, and let me check my phone. I shouldn't probably be doing this, but I think we have one more. Oh, and we're outdoors for free. Barnegat
nice.
Light, way up at the top of Long Beach Island. We play there now. This will be our third summer. And it's always a good time as long as the weather holds up.
Right.
So purepettyband.com for all the info. But if you are a Tom Petty fan, trust me, you really do want to see us.
Right. That's a great name, Pure Petty.
Yeah,
I like that.
Thank you. So let's talk about comedy just for a moment if we can, because
definitely.
I like to laugh. I don't know about you.
Oh, I definitely do.
And so we have a couple this weekend, tomorrow and Saturday. Jeff Ross. Now, Jeff Ross is best known as the Roast the Master General. He's the one who does hosts the when Comedy Central does the Friars roast.
Right.
Very funny guy, and apparently he is taking his act to Broadway.
Oh.
And he's spending the summer, kind of breaking in the show and testing it out and whatever before he gets to Broadway. So if you want to see Jeff Ross pre-Broadway run, by all means, and it is adult-only material, though.
Right.
Know that, as most comedians are.
Right.
This is something that I think is kind of interesting if you're a fan of sketch comedy, kind of like what they do on Saturday Night Live, and also improv comedy, where people just yell in the audience, say, "The doctor's office," and it's raining out, and then just on the spur of the moment, the performers will create a comedic sketch. So Second City kind of more or less are the progenitors, to use a big word, of this style of comedy. And they started in Chicago 65 years ago, which I guess is 1960. My math is right. And they're out, at least one of their troops is out this summer celebrating the 65th anniversary.
Oh, nice.
And Second City, I would go only because you never know what future star you're going to see. Because Joan Rivers, the original Second City, Joan Rivers, Robert Klein. Then, of course, a little later on in the early 70s, the whole Saturday Night crew was, to a large degree, a Second City troupe.
Oh, okay.
Aykroyd, Belushi, that was all. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, they were Second City people out of Chicago and Toronto. And I personally, this is probably 30, 35 years ago. I don't know if you know who Richard Kind is.
Yes.
Kind of dull, right? The comedy character actor, brilliant actor, and also a local guy. Grew up in Bucks County.
I didn't know that.
And I will never forget this. Second City had a summer residency at Harrah's in Atlantic City. So it's probably around 1989, 1990. And I just remember there was a sketch. It was set in a restaurant. And the premise was that there was a couple, and the guy was going to deliver the news that he was done, that he wanted out of the relationship. And his girlfriend is in the ladies' room, and he's explaining to the waiter what he's there doing there, and but he doesn't know, he's nervous, he's scared, he just doesn't want to do it. He has to, and the waiter offers to kind of coach him through silently, just with using his gestures.
Right.
And it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And that waiter was Richard Kind.
Oh, wow.
And of course, no one knew who Richard Kind was.
Right.
So one of the thrills of maybe seeing through the decades, seeing a Second City show, you may see a real, superstar, future
someone
future
that will
star.
become.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. You can say, hey, I saw him when. So that's, when is that? July 26th at Live Casino in South Philly behind Citizens Bank Park. And speaking of Saturday Night Live, which we did a couple seconds ago, Colin Jost of Weekend Update fame is at Ocean Casino. And I always forget how to pronounce his name, but he's huge. Nate, he was hosted a couple times the past year or so. Nate Bargatze, I think it's Bargatze, because I always forget. August 7th, and he is at the Wells Fargo Center.
Yeah.
And there were just two other shows in Atlantic City, probably worth mentioning, a little different. At Borgata, every Thursday night is the Burlesque show. I think this is the 11th or 12th year. It's adult. You got to be 21. It's naughty and it's a little dirty, especially they have a hilarious comedian, MC's named Chris Morris, and he tells the old style kind of unwoke jokes. I mean, if you're politically correct, don't go. You're not going to like this guy. But I'm of the funny is funny school. And as long as it's not done into really with ill intent to really harm somebody. And his jokes, again, they're the old style, like dirty jokes, like, that your father or grandfather used to tell, to his buddies.
Right.
And they have strippers, but not the kind that you find at the gentlemen's clubs. These are young women who really, they're artists. This is an art form to them. And it's all done very tastefully. It's sensual, but it's not vulgar by any stretch of the imagination. And it must be popular because, again, Borgata has had an edition of it for now. This is, I think, either the 11th or 12th year in a row, not counting the pandemic years, of course.
Right.
And and the other residency show, permanent, is The Hook, which is at Caesars, and it's also for adults. It's and it's more, they have like the Cirque du Soleil kind of acts. They have a couple of comics who, again, are raunchy, but not. They're not. Again, they don't do it in a mean way. It's just, it's just silly stuff. But they also have, for instance, a woman who is a hair hanger. She does acrobatics, aerial acrobatics.
Oh, and she hangs from her hair?
From her hair.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And I think pretty soon you'll be able to read it about her in The Sun, actually.
Oh, okay. So, all right. That's great.
Yeah. And it's and they built in 23. Caesars built this. It's basically in Vegas. What Vegas has are all these shows that are permanent. They don't tour.
Right.
You have to go to Vegas to see that show. And Atlantic City is never really year round. That is not just. I mean, summer residencies are nothing special in terms of being unique.
Right.
This is unique because this is Atlantic City's only year-round permanent production show.
And when did they start this?
In 23.
Okay.
And they just over the past few weeks, or actually a couple months ago, beginning of the summer, they they created, I think, pretty much a whole new cast. So, and if you want, you can have dinner beforehand at the restaurant as part of the complex. The show is called The Hook. The complex is also called The Hook, the theater. And there's a restaurant in there with all these crazy decorated rooms. Like one's called, I think, the prop room. And it's just all scattered about are all these theatrical props. And it's called Super Frico. And it's a very, very good Italian restaurant. It is pricey. Be aware of that. So be prepared.
Right.
But if your budget allows, it's a whole nice evening. You go to dinner first and then you walk, down a hallway and boom, you're in this really cool little theater.
Okay.
So,
right.
And I hope that gives everybody some idea.
Yeah, that's a great rundown. Which,
on
your upcoming articles, which ones are you covering a little more in depth?
Well, we'll do the hair hanger. Her name is Miranda Menzies, very lovely young lady from Edinburgh, I believe. Let's see who else. David Lee Roth, I'm hoping to talk to.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Because, for The Sun, I pretty much stick to Atlantic City. So I won't be covering but we can talk about that. Maybe we'll
do
expand. And I think that's all that I have on, although Second City probably may be on the docket as well, but you're going to have to read it. Just to see.
I think it's funny you mentioned the one place called The Hook because in July we're going to be debuting a magazine called The Hook for Fishtown.
Oh, that's what it's called. That's interesting. I get a great name.
Maybe we can connect in some kind of way with that.
Although, why not? So that's what's happening. Go out, have a good time, and also I didn't go into detail, but one of the things that has been, I guess because my band plays some of them, so I'm a little more aware. But wherever you live, whether it's in South Jersey or in the Main Line area, Bucks County, there are, I don't know how many municipalities who sponsor free weekly outdoor shows in the summer. anybody can go, but
Mm-hmm.
it's for the township, for the residents
Right.
of that place. And you see some amazing music there, especially out in King of Prussia. They have, because most of these have local bands and tribute bands, of course, because tribute bands are just so big these days.
Right.
That's amazing. Like there are some tribute bands, like there's a band called Get the Lead Out, which I'll also probably write about in the Sun. They get $50,000-$60,000 a show. I mean, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Pure Petty doesn't get that
Right.
one day. But in King of Prussia, I think it is, where they have touring acts, like national and internationally known acts that you can go and see. Not the Who or not The Weeknd, certainly not
Right.
that level, but legitimate recording acts that are known not just in the area. So I would recommend to anyone, regardless of where they live, down the shore. Ventnor, I believe, does it.
Mm-hmm.
Ship Bottom, Pure Petty, the last 3 summers have played Ship Bottom, where we've drawn as many as 2,500 people. They have a Thursday night concert series. Unfortunately, there was some snafu in scheduling, so we're not on the bill this year in Ship Bottom. But it's so wherever you live, you can probably. So I would heartily recommend
Mm-hmm.
that go on the township website, and if you don't already know, you probably do know. But they're nice times. People just love it, and it gives people a chance to get out, get away from the screens.
Right.
As long as the weather holds up, and see their neighbors, and I would heartily recommend that to anybody, because especially those on a budget, because as we know, it is not cheap to go to any kind of live entertainment event.
Right.
It is, even to my way of thinking, insanely expensive.
Mm-hmm.
When like tickets to the Who, I think the cheapest are like probably $400 now,
Right.
something like that, and that's without the fees and
Right.
the ridiculous and pointless fees. So take advantage of that opportunity to see, because you'll see some really talented.
Yeah, there's nothing
acts.
like live entertainment.
No, not at all. One of the things I've been playing in bands since before I started writing, since high school,
Mm-hmm.
and I never played at the level that I'm playing now. We play theaters, we play outdoor shows with a couple thousand people sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
but it never dawned on me. It was always about me. I have so much fun doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But being in Pure Petty and seeing just the real joy that we bring to strangers. Again, it's not. We played, for instance, just this past. And it wasn't this past. It was in June. We played at a place it wasn't upstate New York. It was right over the Jersey line, way up north, though, about 2.5 hours from here. And again, total strangers.
Mm-hmm.
And afterwards, they come up to us and thank us and tell us how good we are. And yes, it's wonderful to hear. But you see that they appreciate that for a couple of hours, 2-3 hours, they forgot about their,
Mm-hmm.
the world,
Right.
whether it's in their lives or in what's happening,
Mm-hmm.
around them. And there's nothing beats live entertainment.
Yeah.
That's why I've spent literally my entire adult life since I was 18 writing about it, because I don't think there's anything better than it. So,
well, thank you so much, Chuck.
my pleasure.
It was great having you on. We enjoy your articles being in the
you
Sun, and hopefully we can expand them to other areas.
I would love that.
And
Thank you.
Congratulations on your anniversary, which is a milestone anniversary on your writing. And what a great career.
It all means is I'm really old.
Yeah.
That's all. I think of 50 years doing this. God, am I old? But as I say, the only thing that I can come up with, only good thing about I turned 69 in April. I got to see concerts that people, young people today just can't even imagine seeing, like Led Zeppelin, the original Who. I was 13. I saw the original Tommy tour. So they did pretty much the whole rock opera except for just 2 songs. Peter Gabriel when he was in Genesis, and my own personal favorite concert of all time, David Bowie and the Spiders from Mars. The whole Ziggy Stardust thing that changed the world really. And I got to see him live 3 times do that. So, but other than that, being this old ain't so great.
No, it's amazing. It's
So,
amazing. Congrats.
but thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for thinking of me and having me on.
Thank you.
Hopefully we can do it again one day.
That's a wrap for this episode of Beyond the Pages. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Until next time, keep reading between the lines.